Well, coming on from that, as we said today, marking 6 years since the passing of the late, great, iconic President Nelson Rholihlahla Mandela. Madiba was a living example on reconciliation while he was alive and remains a source of hope not only for South Africans, but is also acknowledged all over the world as a beacon of peace. He was a community builder whose biggest mission in life was to build schools and hospitals and bring a sense of identity to the African child. So much so, he started the Nelson Mandela Children's Foundation, which for a while after his passing struggled to find its footing, but seemingly things are turning around. They're hosting a boys and men dialogue on gender-based violence next week. They're also holding the hugely successful Children's Parliament. Ms. Charity Nsah is the project officer at the foundation, and she joins us now to talk about this. Thank you so much for making the time to come through, Charity.
Thank you so much for having me.
6 years since the passing of former President Nelson Mandela, do you get the sense that South Africa, the continent and the world, is respecting children's right and their right to be in this place in terms of access to freedom, access to education and the observation of the rights of children?
I would say that we have gone a long way, and we still have a long way to go. Since the signing of the United Rights of Children, and to date we still have issues of safety where our children are not safe. We continue to have bullying in school, corporate punishment. We continue to have children who are killed and murdered in their own household. We continue to have different issues. And also in terms of education, we continue to have scholar transport, issue where we have to advocate for more availability of scholar transport so that children can continue to access education.
I like what you're saying about children who get killed in their households, because it speaks to that current story, narrative in the country of children who kill, children who commit crimes. How is the foundation dealing with this aspect of our society?
We have to, all of us, take part in dealing with the scourge of violence. Whether you're a mother, whether you're a father, whether you're an uncle, or you are a child yourself, we all have to take part in order to ensure that children are safe. If a child can say to us, I'm not safe sitting with my uncle, I'm not safe sitting with my brother, just watching TV, we all really need to take a responsibility and pledge to say that we are going to work, all of us together, to protect our children.
Yeah. How's the foundation remembering that?
We're hosting tomorrow on Friday. We're hosting the Children's Parliament, the Nelson Mandela Children's Parliament, which will be happening at Pietermaritzburg Legislature, where young people from all 9 provinces are going to come to raise the issue of the rights, to say that how are their rights being realized. And for the past years that the Children's Parliament have been hosted, the children have raised issues and they've declarations that they've written. And in those declarations, they're still going to continue for all of us to be accountable so that we ensure that children's rights are realized.
The Children's Parliament has been running for quite a few years now. Are you able to track back and tell us what the successes have been in terms of your reach, your footprint, and also the kind of citizens, the children who've gone through this process have gone on to become?
Yes. Some of the children, when they enter through the process of participating into the Children's Parliament, after they've gone through the process, they start their own initiative in their own communities. Some of them, when they go to tertiary education, they start small clubs in areas where they are to continue taking part in development and to continue, as I said earlier on, that it's not only, it's everybody's responsibility to ensure that children's rights are realized, to ensure that children's journey it is given more it is given more purpose, if
Yeah.
I can say that, yes.
Tell us about the boys and men dialogue on gender-based violence and what you hope to achieve by having such interactions, because it's a very important conversation in the country right now.
Yes. We've had for the past 5 years a pilot where we were working with different civil organizations in 4 provinces, but the focus was on girls and women. And as we close that pilot, we're saying the men and boys need to come on board. It has to be everybody. It's not only girls and women, but it's everybody who needs to come into this dialogue. And the dialogue that we're going to be hosting on the International Women's Rights Day on the 10th of December is to start to have that dialogue, to say that as a man, as a boy, I can support and protect children and women. And continually throughout the year, the 12 months, we will be doing different activities so that the men who pledge in the community, in the space where they are, they can do something. By the time we come to 2020, 16 days activism, we can point something evidently that we have done to change the schedule.
2 years ago, the Nelson Mandela Children's Hospital was put into operation. Is the hospital still fully operational? Is it getting sufficient support from government and from funders to keep going?
The hospital is still very operational. As we are all aware, it's a referral hospital, which its specialties of different treatments that are referred by all the hospitals around the province, around the
country.
whole country.
Yeah.
Yes. In terms of getting funding, it's an ongoing process. There is support from government as well, and it is continuous getting support from all over the world.
So, 6 years since the passing of former President Nelson Mandela, can we say that the Nelson Mandela Children's Foundation is a successful operation and you're getting the work done, achieving the dream of actualizing the rights of children?
As the vision that the late Mr. Nelson Mandela changing the way society treated children, it's not a vision that you can realize in 1 decade. It continues, and issues in the community continue to come up. 10 years ago, we didn't have a scourge of violence like the way we're having now. So the work continues. It doesn't stop. Way back then, we were dealing with the pandemic of HIV/AIDS, which now we have sort of dealt with and are on a sustainable mode. But we've got other issues that are coming up that we have to deal with as a country. And it's not only the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, it's with the partners and the strategic partners and all civil society organizations and everybody in the community to ensure that we really treat the children right.
There's some concern about the visibility of the foundation in terms of the projects that you're involved in. Do you have a similar sense that you're not visible enough?
I believe the foundation believe in giving back to the community. So where our footprints have been, the civil society can attest to that. The children themselves can attest to that. Those who are part of the Children's Parliament, those who are part of different programs that we partner with different partners can attest to that.
Yeah. Yes. One of Mr. Mandela's biggest fights was access to free education. How are you interacting with government in this regard? Is this project still ongoing?
Yes. In sites or in spaces in provinces where we are, we partner with government to ensure that children access education and they continue to access. If it means going through an advocacy campaign on a scholar transport, we do that with the civil society organization.
So you're right at the ground,
yes,
dealing with the real issues in societies.
Very true.
Which is really commendable. Tell us about some of the projects, important projects that we need to look out for, and how people who are watching now and thinking, I'd like to interact with the foundation, how they can do so.
Currently, we continue to work on issues of safety as they are still need our attention in our country. We also continue to work with the young age, 0 to 5 years old, on survival, infant and child mortality. We also continue with the hospital and continue with integrating sustainable livelihood and youth development. Sustainable livelihood, it's a cut across thread where we are saying, as a teenager, as a mother, as a father, you need something to be able to survive for yourself. So whether you plant gardens that are food gardens that will feed your family and also provide for the community where you are, whether you beading or baking cakes, small income generating that makes the women and the men and the children to survive in the community where they are.
Like I was saying, how can people reach out to the foundation if they either want to support you or work with you or provide any needed assistance?
They can reach us on our telephone and on our website, on our Twitter, and yes, and there is an information is given on our website on which email and which telephone to be able to contact.
So just in wrapping up, what would the foundation like to say on this day that we're remembering the great icon?
As we remember the great icon, it is all of us to take the baton further and continue the legacy that he has left us with, to protect the children, to the society to change the way it treats its children.
Okay, Charity Nsah there from the Nelson Mandela Children's Foundation saying they're like Wi-Fi. You may not see it, but it's on and it's working. Telling us there about, she's a manager at the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund, telling us about the work that they're doing and how to remember this icon. Let's take a break.